This shit is not easy, but it's worth it. PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy, but it's worth it. It's all about community. Spirituality is important. PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy, but it's worth it. PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not.
All right. Hello, beautiful people. How are you? I hope that you're having a great day so far. Okay, I had to make sure my mic was on. Hope that you're having a great day so far. I hope that everything is coming along the way that it should for everyone in some type of way, shape, or form. Of course, today, I haven't done one of these in a while, but I definitely think that it is something that is beneficial, and I got to get back to doing them at least once a week, which are these mental health check-ins. It's so important for us to discuss mental health, for us to promote, healthy mental health and the ways to get there, the ways to achieve that. I don't think that it is discussed enough, the mental health portion of spirituality, and how hard it can be being a spiritual person while trying to heal, while trying to work on yourself, while trying to still figure out family dynamics and things of that nature. So I wanted to come on here and kind of do a little bit of a mental health check-in, share some of the things that I personally have been dealing with, because I know one thing about it is a lot of the things that, we go through, we think that we're going through them alone, and we're not. And my platform has always been about showing y'all that, the real sides of spirituality, showing y'all the true essence of what it is to be a spiritual being on this journey. And it's not always light and love. It's not always sunflowers and roses and bunny rabbits and fairy tales and ladybugs. It's just not. Sometimes that shit is sewer juice, okay? Or dumpster juice, or just, what the fuck is going on, okay? So we're gonna get into it for sure. Of course, before we started, let me get my little stuff out the way so that towards the end we can just close out. Tomorrow I will be live for our 4th podcast episode on Throne Talk. Definitely make sure you go subscribe. Tomorrow we will be discussing pretty privilege. Does it exist? Is it a real thing? How do you achieve it? How do you use it? So on and so forth. So definitely tune in. I definitely feel like this is a amazing topic, and the way that you think we're going to address this topic is not the way that we're going to address this topic. And that's the cool thing about me and Empress A. Also, for those who are in their process of shadow work, in their process of healing, of course, I just released a shadow work prompt journal, which is basically like a journal prompt guide exercise type of thing to help you guys start with getting to the root of a lot of these traumas, and getting under the surface so that you can eliminate a lot of the shit that you're going through because of certain things that, are stuck with you or have been stuck with you. Of course, this newest book is a part of a 3-part series. The Melanated Guide to Healing is my first book. Affirmations for Black women, of course, is an affirmation guide and journal. And then the newest book, okay? So for those who are interested, all of those things are available on Amazon. The link is in the bio. Just click the link. It should take you directly to the Amazon list with all of my books, including my coloring books, notebooks. I have manifestation guides, chakra alignment guides. All types of shit is on there. So live, laugh, love. Okay. So let's get into this mental health check-in. First off, let me say that the comment section for those who are watching live, this is a safe space. Even the comment section for those who will be watching the rerun of this video, the comment section is still a safe space. Okay, so feel free to ask questions in regards to mental health or whatever you feel like you want to ask. Feel free to share your truth. Okay, if you want me to bring your comment on the screen because you feel like it can help somebody else, definitely just let me know. But I want this to be a open space for not only just myself, but most importantly for, for the people who are watching, because y'all are the ones who, you know, I'm doing this for. Okay, so I want to make sure that you're getting out of it what you need out of it. So feel free to use the comment section at your discretion. All right. So one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk about today is not having or feeling that support, okay, that a lot of us feel like we want or feel like we need from the people around us, especially being on this journey. This journey can be very, very lonely. It can be very introspective, right? This whole journey is about introspection anyway. So, going to the depths of your soul, the depths of your being, and figuring out who you are is not an easy thing. It's almost like traveling to the center of the fucking earth, okay? It's hot down there, and it takes a lot to get there. And when you finally get there, you see that it's way more there than you ever expected to be there. And that can come with a lot. And a lot of us don't feel like we are understood, or that we are supported, or that we are loved or wanted or worthy, or good enough. Okay. A lot of us, may feel even confused or slighted because we don't know if we're headed towards the right things, if we're doing the right things, if we're on the right path. There's a lot of things that, again, come along with this journey that can make us feel like we're all over the place and we don't have no real direction. Okay. So, I wanted to come on here, number one, to encourage you all in the fact that even though this journey is about you, which is why, you may be feeling alone, or you may be feeling like, misunderstood, or whatever the case is, not supported. Even though this journey is, about you and about those things, it does not mean that you are not worthy of having things, even though it may look and feel like that, because of the fact that you've been torn away from things that you feel like are good for you, right? Or you feel like you've been used to these things, and then you feel like you're getting pulled from this direction and pulled from that direction. It doesn't mean that anything bad is happening. If anything, it means that good things are happening. On this journey, anytime things are chaotic, that means things are changing, right? Chaos is what brings change. If there is no chaos, or if there is no escalation, if there is no progress, then things do not change. Things stay where they are. So a lot of times we've been taught to read chaos or uncomfortability as something that is negative when it's not, right? So even though we're going through all of these things and we're being pulled from people, places, and things, and environments, and mentalities, and all types of shit, it does not mean that something is wrong with us. Okay, it does not mean that something's wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong things. It doesn't mean that you're not a good person. It doesn't mean that, you don't deserve love, or whatever other lie you have convinced yourself of. If anything, it means that the things that were unaligned in your life are now having the opportunity to be aligned. And sometimes to align something, you have to pull it away from something else, right? Sometimes in order to align something, you got to straighten it out from something else. And that process doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But you have to understand, overall, the bigger picture is, if there is uncomfortability in my life, then that means I am progressing, right? If I wake up every day and every day is the same, nothing is out of place, that means that I'm not progressing. That means I'm not elevating. That means I'm not moving. That means I'm not growing, right? If I wake up every day and everybody is being nice to me and trying to hold my hand and take care of me 24/7, that means something's not right. Okay, something's not right. So don't have an expectation that things are supposed to be perfect, or that things are supposed to look a certain type of way. Progress is progress, right? And if you've ever watched the movie Lucy, okay, I'm gonna give y'all an example, right? If you ever watched the movie Lucy, if you haven't, go check it out. Lots of hidden messages in that movie. But the overall gist of that movie is talking about accessing, the full parts of your brain, and they use this synthetic drug that is supposed to replicate the drug that you receive, or the chemical reaction that happens that you receive as a baby in the womb. Okay, and this specific chemical reaction gives your body the energy and the power and packs the punch that your body needs in order for you to grow bones, in order for you to grow all of your features and your brain and your organs and all of these different things, right? Now, it sounds excruciating, starting from something so small and then having your body start to grow out of that little small place, right? Sounds excruciating, okay? And to some degree, I'm sure that it fucking is, which happens in our life as well. We start at this small, starting point where we are thinking of ourselves as not being that big, where we have been taught through our trauma that we're not that worthy, we're not that big, where we've had, parents or siblings or grandparents or just bullies, period, who have come into our life and try to convince us that we ain't shit, we not that big. And we basically become adults who continue to foster this fake ass reality, this fraudulent ass truth that we are not that big, we're not that great, we're not that worthy. So when you finally do start to break out that shell, that shit is painful because you are breaking out of all of the things that once held you captive. You're breaking out of all the things that once, kept you at a certain place, which is a very uncomfortable thing, especially if you have been doing this for the last 15, 20, 30 years. Right? So you have to give yourself grace in the fact that this journey is very uncomfortable. This is one of the most uncomfortable things you will ever do in your motherfucking life. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Because you are breaking down things that have become foundational for you, right? Our foundations are created in our childhood, right? Whether it is through direct teaching, meaning that your parents are saying, don't do this, don't do that, this is that, or whether it is through experience, right? Where you just see people doing shit and you just learn from what you see. Either way, both of those things combined are building whatever foundation you then start to build off of as an adult and as you move on through your life. So if anybody is coming in and they taking a sledgehammer and knocking that motherfucking foundation up from under your ass, oh, you gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna feel a little rocky, okay? Aaliyah, rock the boat. It's gonna feel very uncomfortable. It's going to, it's not going to be, like I said, roses and sunflowers. You may be upset because a part of your foundation may be something that, or someone that you truly love and care about, and they may not be able to be a part of that anymore, right? Or a part of your foundation may be your hometown and it's time to move. Or part of your foundation may be, it's time for you to pursue what you are here to pursue, and you might get fired from your job or laid off, or you just not feeling it. You go to work and you're not feeling it. You over it, you tired, you annoyed, right? So we are breaking down who we have been taught that we are, and we're actually going within to learn who we actually are. Okay, so the whole process of shadow work, this is why we say it's a long-term thing, because you are always learning something new about yourself based on where you are progressing at in life. Every level has new devils and new lessons and new rewards, right? So every level that you go up, you are not only, achieving things, but you are also releasing things as well, right? And as you release, you find out more about yourself. As you release, you find out who you are and what you're supposed to be doing and who you're supposed to be around and who you need to be entertaining and what jobs you need to be working, or if you're even supposed to be working a job, if you're supposed to be a mom just taking care of your kids, if you're just supposed to, be a businesswoman or man, or if you, whatever it is. Going through this process is how we learn what all of this shit is, right? Now, a lot of us are doing this shit later on in life because of the fact that our foundations was fucked up from jump. Our parents wasn't teaching us how to love properly or what love looked like, right? Or real love looks like. A lot of our parents weren't teaching us how to heal or how to, get over issues or traumas or whatever the case is. So a lot of this shit we are learning from scratch. We are teaching ourselves as we go. We are learning as we go. This is trial and error, firsthand experience type of shit, right? And when you don't know what you don't know, you can't beat yourself up for that. So even as you're going through this process, even as you get further in your spiritual journey, it doesn't eliminate the fact that you're still going to be learning lessons, or there's still things that you do not know. And this is why you have to take it easy on yourself. A lot of us are so hard on ourselves because we see the people around us and we see what they're doing, and then we got social media all over the place, and it's such a distraction because we're looking at everything else, and then we compare those things to our journey, and we see what does not align, or we see what does not line up with that very thing that we're looking at, and then we start to bully ourselves, and then we start to beat ourselves up, and then we start to put even more pressure on ourselves than we even need to begin with. Okay, so shadow work, spirituality, first of all, spirituality is a lifestyle. Is that something that you pick up and put down? Okay, it's not something that you only do when it's a full moon or new moon. I tell you that shit all the time. It's not just an 11:11 portal. Okay, spirituality is the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you communicate with the people around you, the way that you value yourself and others, the way that you love on yourself and others. Spirituality is your mentality. It is the way that you think. It is the way that you go about everything on a day-to-day basis, right? A regular person who is not spiritual may listen to Sexy Red and be like, shake that ass, bitch, and not give a fuck, right? But a spiritual person may listen to that and their whole energy, their whole essence feels out of place or feels weird, or something is unaligned, right? So spirituality is a lifestyle. It's the books you read, it's the TV shows you watch, it's the people that you have in your space, it's the things that you are feeding your mind on a daily basis, it's the things that you're feeding your body on a physical basis. Okay, the food that you're eating, the drinks that you're drinking, everything that you do is based on your value system and your morals, and your morals and your values are directly aligned with your belief systems. So if you have, for example, this is why Christians are so disconnected, right? And I'm gonna get into that a little bit and talk about Christians and family in a second. This is why Christians are so disconnected and they are so harsh and judgmental, because based on their belief system, it creates a lifestyle. And their lifestyle based on their belief system is to judge everybody that don't do the shit that they do. That's just what the lifestyle is based on their belief system, right? The Islamic people, right? They have a different energy. Why? Because it's based on their belief system. The Buddhists, they have a different approach to life. Why? Because it's based on their belief system. So the way that you live your life is based on what you believe, okay? And this is why I always say, try the spirit by the spirit. You should know a spiritual person just by simply looking at them, because the energy, the aura that they give off is going to be based off of their belief system, right? The way that they speak, the things that they say out of their mouths are going to tell you 100% what side of the fucking fence they fall on, because of the way that they carry themselves based on their belief system, okay? So being spiritual does not mean light and love 24/7. It don't mean that. Not only just in regards to the things that we go through, but also in the ways that we act. Ain't nobody telling you to go out here and try to fake the funk and act like you perfect and you ain't got no problems. Leave that for the Christians. Okay? Ain't nobody telling you to go out here and try to be perfect and ignore everything, and I'm gonna turn the other cheek and light and love, and nobody got time for that. Okay? Sometimes you're gonna have to go to the dark side. Being spiritual is understanding that balance is very necessary. Yin and yang is very necessary, and it's all there for a fucking reason. Sometimes you got to show your motherfucking ass so people know not to try you. Sometimes you got to stand your ground and say what you say and mean what you said so people know what the fuck you talking about. Sometimes you got to cuss a bitch out or smack a nigga because they got you fucked up. Right? So don't think being spiritual means that you allow disrespect. Don't think being spiritual means that you turn the other cheek in every situation and you allow people to do what they want, how they want, when they want. That's not what that means. Being spiritual just means I understand how this shit works. That's what that means. I understand karma. That means I understand that if you touch me, if you hit me, I can hit your ass back. And I'm not going to get in trouble for doing it because you hit me first. That's spirituality. Now, a spiritual person will not go out and taunt a person, right? To get a reaction out of them. But if a spiritual person is taunted, you know, don't be afraid to speak your piece, is all I'm saying. Okay? A lot of y'all, you know, when in the beginning of my journey, I'm gonna use myself as an example. I thought that I was supposed to be light and love all the time. I thought it was supposed to be a turn the other cheek, right? And because it was in the beginning stages of my journey, and I'm trying to implement this false sense of, you know, joy, 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 people that weren't used to me being on this journey felt like it was okay to disrespect me. People who weren't used to seeing me, you know, live my life this way thought that, you know, because I had softened up a little bit, that I was soft, right? People who saw that I was trying to change my life thought that it was okay to try to take advantage of me because of the fact that I was trying to change my life and I wasn't cussing bitches the fuck out no more, right? And I had to learn, like, okay, babe, just because you changing your life and you being better and you're learning and you're growing, don't mean that you allow motherfuckers to play with you. Okay? WWAD. What would your ancestors do? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody got time for that. We don't come from no punk ass people. We ain't never been a race of punk ass people. That's just that on that. So don't forget that as you're going through your journey. We come from warriors. We come from fighters, right? We come from people who are in that operate in the darkness. Now, does that mean that they're evil people? No. Everybody that operates in the dark is not evil, right? Because who you know even convinced you that darkness itself was evil? You got to start asking questions, right? So just because you have dark energy or you sometimes go to that dark side does not mean that you're an evil person. Okay, it does not fucking mean that. All right. Now I want to go kind of speak on, you know, dealing with religious family members because I know a lot of us go through that. I've spoken this, you know, before, but anytime, you know, spirit kind of directs me to speak on it, I do. Especially because of the fact that y'all know I come from a very, very, very religious Pentecostal Christian family. And I'm always going through it with they motherfucking ass, you know, based on my beliefs and the different things that I do. And most recently, I got into it with my mom, you know, because of the fact that I do what I do. And, you know, she doesn't like it. My mother's a pastor. So of course she don't like what the fuck I do. She feels like I'm working for Satan. Okay. She feel like me and the devil is bumping coochies. And, you know, a lot of, because they're so closed off, there is no explaining to them, right? There is no breaking it down and trying to get them to see that what you're doing versus what they're doing is one and the fucking same, right? Because the Bible was created based off of spirituality and not the other way around. Spirituality did not come from the Bible came from spirituality. And a lot of them don't want to believe that. They don't want to understand that. They don't want to even try to comprehend that because, number one, they are terribly afraid because they think they're going to go to hell. And number two, because they have a God complex. You know, I worship the one and only God. So because of that, I'm better than you. I know more than you. You're going to hell. I wish you well. You know, they just feel like they higher than thou, higher than everybody the fuck else. Okay. And it can be difficult, especially, you know, for my situation personally. As y'all know, I've written numerous books, 3 within the last 2 years, pretty much. And my books are based in spirituality, right? They're based in shadow work and healing and things of that nature. And if you say shadow work, excuse me, to a spiritual person, they're not going to flinch. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they may feel some type of way about it because of the process. They know about the process, but they're not going to see it as a negative thing or as a demonic thing or as a devilish thing, right? You're going to see it as something that's positive, but you just might be a little scared to go ahead and jump in, which is fine, right? But Christians, they see it as, when they hear shadow work, they automatically think you working with the shadow man, okay? And you just out here just with Satan, just, you know, cutting up. And that's just not what's going on. And I recently had to have a conversation with my mother about lack of support. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants their parent to support them. Everybody wants to have a relationship with their parent where they can feel supported, where they can feel understood, where they can feel seen and heard and appreciated and worthy and things of that nature. Um, and since I started my journey, I knew that, my mother wasn't capable of doing that. She just wasn't capable. And that's a part of, this journey is learning to grieve the relationships that you will never have with the people that you want them with the most. Right. And I've talked about a lot of the issues that I've had with my mom in the past, growing up and things of that nature. Me being the oldest girl of three boys, it's always been a different dynamic. I've always been held to a different standard, which worked out in my favor because it made me who I am. But also, we want what we want, and the child within us still craves certain things. And one of the realizations that sometimes gets me to this day is knowing that that may not be a possibility again with the people that you want it to be a possibility for, right? So I had a very long conversation with my mom who basically told me to my face, I'm not supporting you. I'm not. And it goes against my belief system. Straight like that. I'm not going to share your book because it goes against my belief system. I'm not going to, go out of my way to promote or to, discuss how proud I am of you or whatever the case is, because it doesn't align with my belief system. And that is not an easy thing to do, especially when you are already the first person to kind of break away from religion, right? When you are the first person to break away from those things, you take the brunt force of a lot of the shit that comes with that, or mainly most of the shit that comes with that, right? And that's a difficult process. It's a very difficult process because no one else is there doing what you're doing, which means nobody else sees it from your perspective, which means you feel misunderstood, you feel alone, you feel by yourself, right? You feel like, again, just not feeling supported, not feeling understood. And that can take a toll on your mental health if you are not taking care of yourself in the right manners, if you are not processing that type of information in the right way. So some people may ask, like, okay, so like, what did you do? How did you get over that? For me personally, I understand that, again, shadow work is a lifelong process. So there's always going to be moments where that hurts, right? There's always going to be moments where it makes you feel some type of way, where you see your parent being and showing up for people the way that you want them to do for you. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do, especially when it's your siblings. My mom is the type that goes all out to promote my brothers and the things that they're doing, but would tell me straight to my face, I'm not fucking supporting you, girl. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm not posting that shit on my Christian page so the motherfucking people can look at me and feel like I'm with the shit you with, you know? Um, so that's a hard pill to swallow, and there's really no set time to get over things of that nature. But ways to process it, number one, is allow yourself to feel whatever you feel. That's number one. A lot of us, because we are so hurt, we have built this wall where we do not allow ourselves to be open, where we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable, where we don't allow ourselves to show our true emotion. And for me, that was one thing that I struggled with a lot before my spiritual journey. I didn't, and to this day, you're not going to see me cry too much, only because I'm not a super emotional person where I'm just going to be crying in front of people. But I didn't even allow myself sometimes to cry when I was by myself. And that's when I knew it was a problem. I'm like, damn, bitch, ain't nobody even in here, and you over here trying to wipe the tears away. If you don't let yourself feel whatever you feel, because if you don't give yourself the space in that moment to feel whatever you feel, you just want to track those feelings with you throughout the rest of your life. And you want to have those footprints of that feeling, of that emotion, of that energy tracking through the rest of your fucking life, making it harder for you, making it more difficult for you, fucking up your mental, further down the line, and keeping you basically, trapped, right? It's like the balloon with the weight on the bottom. You may fly up a little bit, but once that weight catch, you're not going nowhere. Okay, you won't go no higher. You won't progress any higher than that. So I had to start, allowing myself to feel what I feel. One of the things I would ask myself is, and it sounds so simple, but like, how does this make me feel? And you can answer yourself with one word answers, 2 word answers. Who fucking cares? How does it make me feel? Hurt, right? And then you ask yourself, why am I hurt? Because right? Why does that make me feel some type of way? Because and you can do all of this shit by yourself in your own energy. Okay, that's the beautiful part about solitude. Is nobody got to know what the fuck going on but you, right? So you can start asking yourself questions so that you can start breaking down what you're actually feeling, because we are holding on to so many things that we don't know what thing is triggering what at what time and what point. We just kind of all over the place because we're holding on to so much. So when you start to break those things down piece by piece, thing by thing, point by point, what you're allowing yourself to do is uncover them layer by layer and find the root. Okay, in my first book I talk about finding the root, and that's one of the processes of doing so, taking your time. Okay, so understand that, number one, you need to start having conversations with yourself, about your feelings, about your views, about your energy, about anything and everything. You should know, you should take the place, whatever best friend or bestie or whoever you got in your life, swap them out for you. All the shit that you would usually pick up the phone and tell them, have that conversation with yourself. All of the things that you would usually, dump on them, dump that shit on yourself. Have that conversation with you and see how much more progress is being made when you take that shit up with you. Okay? Somebody's in the comments, she'll show up one day. This is the thing, right? Expectations lead to disappointment. That's just reality, right? I don't have an expectation of my mother doing anything but what she wants to do. And that, number one, when we have a mentality, and there's nothing wrong with being optimistic. I'm queen optimism. Okay. You can't really put no problem in front of me and tell me it's unsolvable. Ain't nothing unsolvable, right? But you have to also be okay with the idea that that would never happen. The same way that you prepare yourself for everything going right, not saying prepare yourself for everything going wrong, but don't discount the possibility that it just may not go the way that you want it to, right? Because at the end of the day, people are people. In the same way you may be gung-ho to your belief systems, it's the same way other people are gung-ho to their belief systems. And at a certain point, you have to respect where people are, respect how people feel, respect their viewpoints, respect their beliefs, but also respect yourself enough to walk away if it does not serve you. Right? I'm super understanding of my mother's beliefs. I sat in church for 23 years. Literally, my grandmother's church is a year older than me to this day. Right? So I sat in church for majority of my lifetime. Literally, the vast, over half of my lifetime, I've been in church. Okay, my grandmother was the pastor until I was about 22, 23, and then my mother started her own church. And when my mother started her own church, I just left church alone. I was over it because it was too much going on, messy. But anyway, I left. So I understand how deep that belief system goes. I understand the hurt, the pain, the fear, the trauma. I understand the hierarchy. I understand the ego. I understand the manipulation. I understand the narcissism. I understand the gaslighting. I understand the, problematic energy. I understand the lying energy. I understand the sexual, energy as well. Okay, I understand all of that because I was around it my entire life. I was literally, immersed in that lifestyle for as long as I can remember. So, I understand how she feels about the things that she feels, right? um and I get that part, right? But what I would never, ever, ever understand, no matter what it is a parent not supporting their child. Even if you don't support what I do or my belief systems, you still can support my achievements and my accomplishments, right? So of course those are the things that we want, and I'm a very logical person, so I can make sense of that. My mother's a Pisces. She can't make sense of that, respectfully. She lives in her own world. She lives in her own reality. She only sees what she wants to see. She only believes and takes heed to what she wants to. Anything that doesn't exist in her mind does not exist in her reality, and it's just that on that. And I've come to understand that, as you start to grow and you start to heal, you understand your parents from a different perspective, right? You understand that they're basically children running around this motherfucker trying to prove points to their parents. That was one of the biggest wake up calls that I had. It was like, oh, you're treating me how your mom treated you. Oh, I got it. You just hurt like me, girl. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Now, would I let you continue to hurt me? Fuck ass no. But I understand that hurt people hurt people. And that's what you're doing. I understand that when you're not supported, sometimes you don't support. I understand that now. Boom. You know what I'm saying? When my mother started her church, my grandmother didn't support her. Talked about her, did her dirty. So hurt people, and generational curses are so fucking real. And the more you break those things down, you may not be able. This is the thing about healing, right? The purpose of healing is not to change the past, it's to change the future, right? Because our past dictates, or where we come from dictates where we're going, right? So if I do not go and clean up the shit from my past, then I'm running the risk of continuing this energy, or continuing this problematic energy or carrying it into my future. So the purpose of us breaking generational curses is not to save the cursed. It's to save the uncursed, right? It's to prevent the uncursed, our future children or our children now, from going through the things that we went through. It's to save the next generation, not the previous. The previous generation is responsible for saving themselves. Same way you're responsible for saving yourself, they're responsible for saving themselves, right? And I tell you all the time, just because you woke up and just because you got the call and just because you've answered the call doesn't mean that people around you want to do that same thing. It doesn't mean that they want to do that same thing. It doesn't mean that they're ever going to do that same thing. Okay? And you just have to be okay with it. Who knows what lifetime in the past you was like them? Who knows? Right? Who knows? This could have just been your lifetime that you wake up. And maybe they got to wait for their next lifetime for them to wake up. Who are we to say when someone is supposed to get it? And that's one thing that I had to learn. I cannot be responsible for any souls outside of mine that had an opportunity to do the shit that I'm doing. I'm only responsible for the people who are coming after me, so that they don't even have to do what I'm doing. The whole purpose of the previous generation is to set a new tone for the future generation, not to go back and clean up the generations before. That's not the fucking purpose. Them people got to take care of themselves. They got to go figure that shit out for themselves. They got to make it work for themselves. I don't got shit to do with that, right? All I can do is learn from and make changes accordingly. That's all we can do. All we can do is experience what we experience, figure out if it's something that we want to take with us or something that needs to stay, make that decision and keep it fucking pushing. Right? Now, it sounds easier said than done, and it is easier said than done, right? Because nobody wants to move away from what they think is supposed to be a proper family structure. A lot of us, we watched all these movies, and the way it's supposed to be is, you're supposed to have a mom like this, you're supposed to have a dad like this, you're supposed to have family like this, siblings like this, aunties and uncles like this, grandparents and whoever else, friends like this. But the reality is, this not no fucking movie. This is real life. And all of these people have individual paths. All these people have individual feelings, individual, energies, individual internal feelings, and they're just not you. They're just not you, right? And one thing that my mother said to me as she was telling me, that she's not going to support me, is you can't expect for people to do you to treat you like you treat them. And I was like, did you just fucking tell me, bitch, I'm not you? Because you know what we want to do? Well, I did this for you, and I did this for you, and I supported you this way, and I supported you that way, and I did this and I did that, and you can't do this for me, and you can't do this for me. And my mother had to tell me, girl, stop expecting for people to act like you. And even though that was a hard pill to swallow because of the fact that it was coming from her based on the conversation we was having, right? It's like you basically just told me, I don't care what you do for me. I'm not going to ever do that shit for you. That's what that was. You know what I'm saying? But there's truth in that. If I cannot expect anyone to do what I do for them, all I can do is observe how they act when I do the shit that I do for them, and I make a decision if I want to continue doing or if I don't. Period. Right? I can't give with an expectation of receiving, and a lot of us don't. Right? Real givers never really have an expectation of receiving. When you really give from your heart, you're not giving to receive. You're giving to show. I'm giving to show you I got your back. I'm giving to show you that I support you. I'm giving to show you that, you know, you're not in this alone, or that you have this or you have that and whatever, whatever. I'm giving to prove a point to you that I am here for you, right? I'm showing up to prove to you that I am here for you, right? So real givers don't give with the expectation of receiving. They give with the expectation of showing up, right? That's their only expectation. I want you to know that I showed up. I want you to know that I care, right? But a lot of people will take what you give and won't take care of it, won't give a fuck, won't acknowledge it at all. Not even a little bit. And will tell you that they're not going to do that shit. So what do? You don't stop being a giver. You just give to somebody who's going to appreciate it, right? You don't stop being a giver. Right? Don't stop loving people. Don't stop giving to people. Don't stop showing up for people. You know, don't, you know, stop doing the things that you feel organically inclined and led to do, because you're doing it from your heart. You're doing it because that's the type of person you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. It only becomes a problem when you're doing those things for people who will never, ever, ever do it for you in some type of way, shape, or form. When you're doing it and you're not receiving anything in return, that's when we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem now, right? So it's nothing wrong. I hear a lot of people say, you know, well, I'm just not going to love no more. I'm just not going to give no more. I'm just not going to show up for people no more. I'm just going to stop doing this and stop doing that. I'm just going to stop being understanding, and I'm just going to stop doing this. And it's like, why would you stop the things that make you who you are? Right? Why would you stop the things that bring you the abundance that you have in your life? Stop the things that you were put here to do. You can't stop that. But what you can do is stop giving it to motherfuckers who don't appreciate it. Now that'll help you. Because when you are giving and when you're doing for someone who gives and does back for you, you don't feel like you're being drained. It doesn't feel like they're just taking, because they're not. You feel replenished. You feel cared for in return. You feel loved and supported in return, right? So don't let evil people make you evil. I had to learn that about this journey. A lot of the motherfuckers around us are evil. They're evil. But guess what? Every villain has a story too. Every villain has a story. Does it excuse their behavior? Fuck no. But it can help you understand why yours may be that way, especially if it's your parent or the people who was in your environment. I had to start studying my mother, because I said, okay, I see you acting like my grandmother, and I don't want to act like y'all. I don't want to treat my children the way that y'all treated y'all children. I don't want, you know, to bring anyone into this world and then make them feel like they're a hassle when I decided to bring them into this motherfucker. Or ostracize them, or make them feel like a black sheep, or make them feel unwanted or unsupported or whatever else. I don't want to fucking do that. So what do I need to do to make sure that I do not do that? Whether it's subconscious or conscious, right? I don't want to be that type of person to my children. I will not be that type of person to my children. And the only way I can ensure that is to learn from what I don't want to be. Is to realize what parts of me are already trying to show up that are similar to those people that I don't want to be like. And that was a part of my foundation of my spiritual journey. I had to realize, like, my mother is not a great person in a lot of different ways. And I had to start breaking down those ways and seeing how many similarities I had to her. I had my attitude just like hers. I had this know-it-all energy just like she do. I had this my way or the highway ass energy. You know what I'm saying? I had this infatuation with men. There was a lot of things that were very similar to my mom. And I had to realize, like, hey, babe, are you paying attention? Do you want to repeat this? Is this something that you want in your future? You know what I'm saying? Is this something that you will be okay with your children seeing? Probably fucking not. You know what I'm saying? Hell no. So I had to go through and I had to heal those things. And that's a difficult process. Right? Because if when you are born and raised in that type of environment and you have grown in that type of environment and that type of environment is a part of your foundation, it's almost like you're killing off parts of yourself, right? But it's not really parts of yourself. It's like parasites, right? Parasites, when they're in your body, they take from you. That's all they do. They take your nutrition, they take your food, they take your energy, the water out of your organs. All their only job is to feed off of you. And they have convinced you that they are a part of you. And they're not. That parasite don't belong to you. That's why it's called a parasite. So when you remove it, you realize, oh shit, I wasn't hungry all the time. I just had a fucking parasite. But this motherfucker, because it was so attached to my energy, it made me feel that we were one and the same, and we're not. So, you know, a lot of it is disconnecting from what you thought was you, and it wasn't you. It was your mama. It was your daddy. It was your granny. It was your sister, your brother, your cousin, or whoever had, you know, impactful, whoever impacted your life in that way, shape, or form. It was never you. You never. Nobody's born with an attitude problem. Nobody's born mad or upset. You know, that's just not how that works. No one is born hating anybody. No one is born traumatized or hurt or, you know, those types of, it just, that's not reality. So then you have to say, okay, if I wasn't born with this energy, where did I get it from? I was born with this face. I was born with this ass. I was born with my body. I know that belonged to me. But the other parts of me, right? The parts that I can't see, the parts that are not physical, where the fuck did I get that shit from? Where did I learn fear? Why am I so afraid to go out and win? Where the fuck did I learn that from? Right? Where did I learn judgment? Why am I so hard on myself and other people? Or why am I just so hard on myself? Where the fuck did I get that from? Right? Where did I learn, you know, to bully myself in the way that I do? Who was my first bully? And for a lot of us, our first bully was the people that we was raised with. My first bully was my mama. I didn't need nobody to come to school and bully my ass. My mother had a down pat. She made me feel like shit. And it didn't take a lot. Yeah? So a lot of these things that we think are a part of us are not a part of us. They're just a part of our trauma. They're just a part of our past. That's it. And again, it's not an easy process to start to realize a lot of these things and break a lot of these things down. It's not easy at all. It's difficult. It's painful. It's hard, right? A lot of times you want to quit. You know you're doing your journey right if you want to quit almost a couple times a week. That's how you know you're doing it right. That's how you know you're moving and you're making progress. When a couple times a week you don't want nobody to talk to you, you just want to fall off the face of the earth, baby, you are on the right track. Okay? When you want to just pick up and move across the country to the middle of the forest so nobody can talk to you or see you, baby, you are on the right track. Okay? When people being taken from your life left and right, you're on the right track. When you're getting fired from jobs and laid off and forced to move or forced to take on a new career or forced to do shit like that, you're on the right track. Those are all signs of ascension. Those are all signs of movement. Those are all signs of progress. Remember, when you're not moving, that's when you want to be worried. When things are not moving around you, that's when you want to be worried. But we never know what is working for our benefit or what is working for us positively until we get to that moment where it all makes sense. That's why they say hindsight is 20/20. Not necessarily because I missed the red flags. Because why are you missing red flags? That's not what we mean when we say hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020 really means now I see why this happened the way it happened. Now I see why this had to go the way that it went. Now I see the benefits of that particular situation, right? That's the hindsight. But it's not to say while I'm in this moment, if I peep a red flag, when you know, you have a responsibility to do. So when I know it's people around me who can't give to me what I need, who are negative, who are, low vibrational, or who are just not for my life, I have a responsibility to do something about that. And if I do not, I am now held responsible and have to be accountable for whatever happens because I didn't make the decision that I know I was supposed to make. Right? But when you see them red flags and you make that decision, it may be hard to make that decision because you don't see how it's going to positively affect you until you get to that future moment, and then you look back and say, that's why that had to happen. That's why I had to let that motherfucker go. That's why I had to walk away from this person, that person. Right? It was and for me, I don't know if anybody else is like this. For me, I have no problem with letting go of people. Okay? I'm probably too good at letting go of people. Unless it's people that I really, really, really have allowed into my space. Right? I'm a hard shell to crack. But once this crack, baby, I'm wide open. I love the people that I love, and I'm loyal than a motherfucker. And I'm going to ride till the wheels fall off. And even when the wheels fall off, we both going to be pushing that motherfucker together. You hear me? You understand? However, everybody that you let in is not supposed to stay there. So, I have no problem cutting off people who are not in my inner circle. But when you are in the inner circle, it's very, very difficult for me to let you go. And this is usually when spirit has to come in and pull shit the fuck away from me. Spirit be like, okay, let me come get that motherfucker. And I'm sitting there like, no, I actually like that one. Why are you taking the ones I like? Why are you taking the people that I want? Take the people I don't want. But it's like, I can get rid of the people that I don't want. The people that I don't care for, it's easy for me to let the motherfuckers go and act like they never existed. I'm really good with that. I will act like you never existed. Right? But when spirit takes someone, I'm like, no, you fucking did. And it's a process. It's a process to get over. It's a process to go through. It's a process to understand and understand. Right? But again, when you get over that hump and you get on the other side, you realize like, damn, thank you. Because had I got to this place with that motherfucker beside me, or I probably would have never even got to this place. When spirit removed my mother the first time, it helped me awaken. If I was still up under my mama's titty and hanging on every word because I wanted her approval and I wanted all of these things, I would never be who Poca is right now. Because she wouldn't have allowed it. She wouldn't have liked it. And if she would have told me I don't like that shit, I'd probably be like, you know what? Maybe it's wrong. Maybe I don't need to do this. Maybe I need to step away from this. Maybe I don't, maybe I need to walk away. But because I had space from her, and I had space from the church, and I had space from all of the things that, I was trying to impress, all the people I was trying to impress and make proud and make happy and all of these things, right? Coming from being a black sheep, one of our only jobs that we try to accomplish is to make people not think of us as the black sheep, right? And we'll spend a lifetime trying to do that with people who have committed to their life to not ever see you in another way. So it's like redundant. It's pointless. So me being pulled away from that environment gave me the space that I needed to be me. I was distracted from being me, trying to be whatever for somebody else and other people. Right? Had I not done what I, be pulled away from that situation, we would have never had PocaSPEAKS. There would be no PocaSPEAKS. There would be no 5, almost 6 years of helping and healing the Black community. There would be no 3 books. There would be no YouTube channels or podcasts or TikToks or Instagrams and Facebook channels and stuff. There would be, no, inspiration or help or gratitude or enlightenment. There would be none of those things. It would not exist. Right? So again, hindsight is 2020 because now we can see the dots connect. Now we can see the price, the value, right? And because a lot of us don't see ourselves as being valuable, we hold on to people who make us feel the slightest amount of value or the slightest amount of importance, or we hold on to people that we're trying to prove our value to, right? And you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. All right. So if anybody want to drop a couple questions in the comments, feel free to, as we close out. Again, please take it easy on yourself. Please, really give yourself the space to get to that future place where hindsight can be 2020. You know what I'm saying? Hindsight is only 2020 when you make it to that point where you're able to see it from that perspective. And the only way you can make it to see it from that perspective is to keep going. You got to keep pushing, and it's hard as fuck. It's hard as fuck when your spouse is not on the same journey, or when your parents is not on the same journey, or when your friends and your confidants and the people that you're used to are not on the same journey. It's difficult realizing that I may have to separate from this person, to separate from that person, or never talk to this person again, or put up boundaries with this person, or have non-negotiables for this person, and so on and so forth. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy place to be in, but it is something that is going to help you become more prosperous, more abundant, more aligned, okay, more elevated. It's going to help you ascend and never come back to this rusty, crusty, dusty ass motherfucker again. And I think that's the best part of it all, that we don't have to come back here. When you get it and you lock in, you don't have to come back. When you learn what you need to learn and you know what you need to know, you don't have to come back and try this shit again. So remember, what helps me is knowing that all these people that think that they better than me because they worshiping somebody else or something else, or have these negative ass mentalities, what helps me is knowing that they're going to be back here doing it again. Okay, so while you're talking all that shit about spiritual people, have fun next lifetime, because we're not going to be here. We're going to be ancestors in the spiritual realm, or doing some other high vibrational ass shit, or going to another motherfucking universe where it's lit. Okay? I got time for that. All right, first question. How do you deal with close family members who don't support you? Again, number one, you allow yourself to feel whatever you feel from that situation, whether it's pain, whether it's anger, whether it's hurt, whether it's all of the above. Give yourself the space to feel it. Ask yourself, how does this make me feel? And then when you have an answer, it makes me feel hurt. Okay, why does it make me feel hurt? It makes me feel hurt because yada 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 yada. The first, stage is to process those emotions and that pain, so you know exactly what it is and you become familiar with it. So then you know how to tame it. Then you know what to do with it, right? The next part is, the hardest part, which is you got to keep going. You got to be okay. If their lack of support for you is detrimental to you or your mental, if being around these people is detrimental to you or your mental, then you're going to have to remove yourself, right? If it is too painful for you to be around, then you're going to have to remove yourself, right? But you can't fix the problem by trying to fix them. That's, you only fix the problem by fixing you. And, that's what this journey is all about. It's not about trying to fix other people or make other people see something from your perspective. It's you changing your perspective so that you can make the necessary changes, for yourself, for your future, for your family, for your children, for your legacy, okay, for your descendants. That's the whole purpose. Let them people do what they do. And then ask yourself this: what are they doing with their life? Okay. Are they in a position to talk shit? Are they in a position to feel some type of way? Are they in a position to judge? 10 times out of 10, they fucking not. They're not, right? Most of the people who look at us crazy, treat us crazy, don't support us and all of these other things, just look at their life. Look at their lifestyle. Look at how they live. And it's not always about what they have. They can have all the money in the world, but look at their life. Because you can tell a happy person. And most happy people don't have shit to prove, to put in your face to make you think they happy. Happy people wake up happy just because life is life. Just because they choose to motherfucking be happy. right? So just look at the people around you and then ask yourself, do I really want that support? Do I really want that support? You know, that's what I had to ask myself. Do I really want this person to? Because some people, you know, one thing that I've learned about a lot of people in my family, they don't support you until you pop. That's you know, a lot of people, period. They don't support you until you pop in. They don't support you until, you know, other people are supporting you. And me and my father had a conversation about that. You know, my father is very, very extremely supportive of my journey, of what I do. Extremely purchased all of my books, you know, helped me with a lot of my marketing ideas and a lot of stuff behind the scenes, all types of things, right? I'm fortunate for that. You know, I'm grateful to have one parent that got their head on straight. It's a blessing, you know, with just that, period. But at the same time, you know, a lot of these people, again, that we're looking for support from, their lives are not reflected of someone, or reflective of someone that you would actually want in your space. It's more so, you know, the innate want that we have when it's your family members. You think that they're supposed to support you just because they're family, but the reality is nobody has to do a fuck ass thing for you. It's a hard pill to swallow, but nobody owes you anything. They don't owe you support. They don't owe you a, you know, a congratulations, a good job, I'm going to purchase your stuff, or they don't owe you none of that. You know, so you know, a lot of it is understanding that, you know, they're just gonna have to be a part of the people that see you win. They just gonna have to be a part of the people that see you elevate. They just gonna have to be a part of the people that understand you, because they under your motherfucking ass, right? They just gonna have to be a part of those people. I remember when I've had a lot of fucking jobs. You know, my Gemini Sagittarius rising ass, baby. I've done so many fucking things. It's ridiculous. But one of the things that I used to do, that I love doing and might start doing again, is I had a radio show, right? I had a satellite radio show back in 2017, I want to say. And when I first did it, you know, back at that point, I was staying with my mom temporarily. You know, that was before I had got my first apartment. I think I was about 20, maybe 20, 21, one of them. Something along those lines. Right before my spiritual journey, literally. Or my reawakening, I would say. And my mother thought it was a dumbass idea. She was like, I don't know why you doing that. You can go and get a job. You can go and do this. You can go and do that. That's, you know, blah, 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 blah. And she didn't support it. In the beginning, she did not support it until my radio show started popping. Until I had thousands of people listening to me on every Friday. Okay, until, you know, the radio show deemed me and deemed my show the top show with the biggest audience that they had on their platform. The guy that I was working with, who owned the radio show, was mad as fuck when I stopped doing it, because I was bringing in so many audiences. So many people was looking at me. So many people was listening in, right? And then, you know, once it started popping, all of a sudden she wants to show up at the studio and sit in the crowd and pull her phone out and, oh, look at I'm at my daughter's radio show. You know, I'm here supporting that chat. There go my daughter right there, y'all. Say hi, Shania. Say hi, Poke. Hey, yeah. But when I started the shit, she was the same person who told me that wasn't a good idea. She was the same person who didn't think of it being anything more than what it is. And a lot of it is that, number one, I had to learn that my mother never had her dreams fed into. You know, everything was about church with my family. So they think that their goals and dreams is to be pastors and shit. Who knows what the fuck my mother truly wants to do with her life? Who knows what she could have done with her life, or what role or position or career she could have had outside of trying to live a certain lifestyle? So how can I expect someone whose dreams have never been fed to feed mine? I can't. And I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't get it. I'm like, well, why the fuck? Why she want to support me now? Now she want to be all proud and happy and act like she was support her from jump when she fucking wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But everybody can't see your vision. I had to learn that as well. Everybody don't see your vision because it's your vision. Everybody can't see it, right? When I started PocaSPEAKS, my parents couldn't see my vision. They could not have imagined it would be what it is to this day. You know what I'm saying? At all. A lot of people around me didn't know that me going, coming out with my spirituality, it really feel like you're coming out for real. Like LGBTQ, lettuce, bacon, and tomatoes. It really feels like that. When you come from church and your family is the church, baby, it feel like you coming out. It feel like you telling everybody that you a lesbian. And they looking at you like, oh, bitch, you going to hell. You know what I'm saying? When they already didn't really fuck with you like that anyway. Now they're like, ooh, My family was calling me the family witch. And probably still is. Do you think I give a fuck? Hell no. Because guess what? They scared too. And I started asking myself questions like this. Why are Christians so scared of spiritual people if what we doing don't got no power or don't got no shit to it? You telling me that the devil is more powerful than your God? That makes no fucking sense. Why are you so fucking scared? Why are you so scared of some shit that you swear up and down ain't powerful and ain't above God and whatever else? Why are you so terrified? Because they know the truth, but they don't want to admit that, because admitting it will cancel out all that has made them feel like who they are. And for my family, I had to realize they feel important, with that. That makes them feel important. That makes them feel like they doing some shit. So, a lot of family members, whether they're Christian or not, they're not going to support you based on whatever they got going on in their head, whatever makes them feel like, whatever boosts their ego. So they can't see your vision, right? A lot of the things this is the thing too. When you're doing shit for the first time, people always gonna look at you crazy. Because you're the first to do it. If everybody has been wearing white shirts and tan pants for the last 30 years, and you come up with the brilliant idea to dye your shirt orange and to dye your pants black, baby, they gonna look at you like the exorcist. What the fuck wrong with her? What are you doing? You see all of us got on white motherfucking shirts and tan pants? What are you doing? You must be demonic. You must be on some negative ass shit. You can't be game. You can't be game. And this is the thing. A lot of us think that we just put them new clothes on. Baby, you was born in them new clothes. That's why them people ain't like you since you was born. That's why they treated you different since you was born. This is not something that just happened. You was born with them new clothes on. You was the first one to pop out looking different. And they couldn't put their finger on it. It's something about this motherfucker that's not like us. So what do most people do when there are people around them that are not fitting in, that are not, the same as them? They make that person feel like what they're doing is wrong. They ostracize that person. They bully that person. They guilt trip that person. They try to control that person. They try to force that person back into submission. Right? So this is why a lot of us will never blend in with the motherfuckers that we come from. Because we're not supposed to. We was born different. A lot of us just use some of these motherfuckers to get here. That was just your entrance back into this realm. And sometimes you got to think about it like that. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But one thing that I did learn is mother figures sometimes are better than actual mothers. And instead of trying to manifest a relationship with your mama or your parents or your family members that you will never have, or that is not possible, manifest people around you who support you while supporting yourself. Because I have met so many women who are my mother's age, who have supported me, who have fed into me and still feed into me to this day. Right? I have one lady who coincidentally has the same name as my mama. I call her Mama Angela. My mama's name is Angela. Her name is Angela. I call her Mama Angela. Got the same name as my mama, around the same age. And when I say this lady look out for me, when I say this lady buy every fucking thing that I put out, check in on me, make sure I'm straight. She started off as just a client, somebody who just wanted some information. And it turned into, her being somebody that I can, not necessarily talk to 24/7 all day, every day. It's nothing like that. It may be, a month in between or something like that. But you will get what you attract by being what you want to receive. So when I started to mother myself, Spirit sent me mothers. So instead of worrying about the one that ain't shit, I got all of these other ones. I have more bang for my buck. Cause now I got multiple. You know what I'm saying? Got an amazing father. So I didn't really have to search for father figures or nothing like that. But even still, I have a village with my father. My father's best friends, my godfather and his friends and all of those people also support me. So it's all about, number one, looking at what you do have. Because a lot of times we're so focused on the things that we want out of the people that we want it from that we don't even realize or recognize or appreciate the people who are supporting us, the people who are showing up for us, the people who are there for us, you know what I'm saying, helping us, further ourselves or just supporting us as we do so. Okay. Deeper ways to let go of the guilt. What guilt, honey bun? What guilt you mean? So I can answer that properly. But yeah, don't be ashamed of what people call you. You know what I'm saying? We've been called worse by better motherfuckers. So let them people in your family call you whatever they want to call you. One thing they can't call you is stupid. One thing they can't call you is sleep. And one thing they can't call you is like them. You can't say I'm like you, bitch. Okay? And sometimes that's the biggest compliment, that I am not like y'all. We've been taught to look at that as a problem because they convinced us that was a problem. But that's really the biggest and the best thing that has ever happened to you, that you came out different from the motherfuckers. Because look at them. All you got to do is look at them. All you got to do is look at their life. Behind the money, behind the job, behind the career, behind all that shit. Look at who they are as a person. Look at the core of who they are. Most of these motherfuckers are in hell. They scared to go to hell and already there. You know what I'm saying? So fuck it. Fuck it and fuck them. Especially if they're detrimental to your journey or detrimental to your process. Fuck them. Fuck them people. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about them, they not going to not chase their dreams because of you. They not out here waiting for your approval. They not out here begging for your support. Are they? Fuck ass, no they not. So fuck them. Do what you need to do. Okay? The guilt of not following my path sooner and listening to higher self. Baby, there should not be no guilt. Everything happens in divine timing. Everything happens in divine timing. Okay? You wasn't supposed to be on your path until you got on your path. And you gotta be okay with that. You gotta be okay. Sometimes we have to go through the experiences before we're able to learn why. That's just that. So you had to go through those however many years of being asleep, so that when you woke up, you knew exactly what it is that you needed to tackle. You knew exactly what it is that you needed to do, and you know exactly how to motherfucking do it. And you are in a different mental space where you can actually do it. Most of these motherfuckers, imagine, go back to being 18, go back to being 17, go back to being 16. You wouldn't give a fuck about a goddamn shadow work. And I just had an 18-year-old inbox me yesterday about her mom and a lot of things she was going through with her mom as well, and she's 18 years old, and it's very, very rare for people to get it that young. Most people who get it that young were born in that environment, right, where they were born around people who were spiritual, or people who, it was little things that was always around them, right, for them to be able to get it that early. But a lot of us didn't have that. And if you didn't have it, that means you wasn't supposed to. We all have a different life. And all of our lives have different paths. And there's all types of different ways to getting to that path. Or to stay aligned with that path. Right? So, I had the same feeling. I'm like, damn, I wish that I would have woke up, when I was fresh out of high school. But it's like if I would have woke up fresh out of high school, I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the things that I did. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been able to take care of somebody else's baby and make sure that she was good and that she was safe until her parents can get themselves together. I wouldn't have been able to have radio shows and work at this place and work at that place and do this and do that in order to come on here and speak from experience. Right? You got to experience in order to speak from experience. So a lot of things that I did may have put me in some fucked up situations, but those fucked up situations taught me something that now allows me to be a teacher. Right? So don't feel or don't beat yourself up about not having the information sooner or not getting to where you are sooner, okay? Because everything happened the way it was supposed to. Everything went according to the way it was supposed to get you here. That's the only important thing. It doesn't matter when you got here, it just matters that you got here, okay? Trauma is rampant in our community. Absolutely. We've been traumatized for years. It's innate. Our ancestors was traumatized and their ancestors were traumatized. So, it's something that we were born into, which is why it's something that we have to grow out of. You know what I'm saying? We got to grow out of that shit. We have to, again, when you know better, you do better. And, a lot of our people just don't know better. They just don't know. They just have not been taught, the ways to get past where they are. So healing also helps you be more compassionate, not only with others, but also with yourself. Be very compassionate with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. The world has done that enough. Your family members have done that enough. You don't need to add no more fuel to that fire. If anything, you need to throw some water on that bitch, cool it down, and let it burn out. All right. So light and love to all of you beautiful people. I hope that you guys got something from this. Please understand that you are not in this journey alone. Don't be afraid to open up with other spiritual beings, other spiritual people about what you may be going through, because you never know who is going through what you're going through. You never know who can show up for you in whatever type of way when you put yourself out there, okay? Now, if you are in a place of solitude, embrace that solitude, okay? Because one thing I learned in the beginning, well, I'm a Gemini. I've always loved to be to myself for a certain amount of time, but I'm also very social. So in the beginning, I didn't really like being by myself because I'm a relationship oriented person. So I may not want to be around friends and family all day, but I wanted to be around my niggas as much as I could, or be in the house with my niggas as much as I could. So when I left my last relationship and started my healing process, and I ain't had no niggas to call, no niggas, that masculine energy was gone, baby. I was losing my mind. Okay? But then I fell in love with being by myself. And fast forward 5, 6, 7 years later, I don't even be wanting nobody to be around me at this point. I'm like, do I really want motherfuckers to be in my space? I think I got so comfortable being alone that it's normal now. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing wrong with that. And that's not to say that you gotta be by yourself all day, every day. That's not to say that. But it is to say that you need to be spending the most time with you. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to heal. That's the only way you're going to be able to ascend and excel and to release, okay, is spending that time with yourself. The same way you take time out to date people and to learn them and to spend time with them and to figure out what makes them tick, what makes them mad, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, what makes them glad, what makes them joyful and content and everything else, you got to do that shit with yourself first. So that when people come into your life, you know what you do and do not tolerate based on what you give to yourself. And I had to learn that. And nobody gets a pass. Family, friends, mama, daddy, sister, brother, cat, dog, husband, no matter. Nobody gets a pass. If you are not adding to my life, you are taking from my life. And can't nobody come into my life and just take. All right. So light and love. Again, hopefully you guys got something from this. Definitely make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the conversation back and forth in the comments. Feel free to comment more. I know a lot of y'all be watching, but get into the comments, okay? Y'all know I love to have a conversation. And I want to make sure that this is helpful. So if there's specific questions or things that you feel like I'm not addressing head on, just drop it in the comments. Y'all know I have no problem answering questions or being more specific in the things that we're discussing. All right. So light and love to all of you beautiful people. Again, I will be on Throne Talk tomorrow night, so there will not be a Poca Live tomorrow. But I will be doing the podcast live tomorrow. Again, we'll be going over Pretty Privilege. So definitely make sure that you go subscribe to Throne Talk so you can watch us there. Other than that, light and love again. Take it easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself and love on yourself.